So guys, to keep you updated, we are going to check it out the latest data mines that we had from the last day of the dev server. There were some things that I didn't mention because I didn't know they were there. So let's just wrap the dev server up with the latest data mines made by Gszabi. You can help Gszabi on the link in the description with his coffee. Okay guys? So let's get going. So lurks now, the lurks vapors, right? In high altitudes will be less or none depending on the altitude. So for example, if you are flying higher, the higher you are, the less likely it is that these vapors will appear, obviously due to the amount of humidity normally caused in those situations, right? But in a general sense, you will see from like 5 to 6 kilometers onwards, it will be half the intensity, and from 11 kilometers onwards, there will be none. Okay, so it is interesting, somewhat realistic, and it's just interesting that, of course, humidity is not something that it's actually modeled in the game, if I'm not mistaken. So we cannot actually see, like in a desert map we don't see that, and in a normal map we would, or something like that. But still, it is a cool realistic thing, right? The next thing is that the flankers, all the Su-27s basically had some changes to the fly models, right? Including the Su-34. In general, it is making them worse in some speeds and better in some others, depending on how and where you are flying, okay? But in a general sense, it is making the aircraft a little bit more sluggish to, not sluggish, but it will be just harder to do sharp maneuvers while you are doing cobras, for example, stuff like that, right? So yeah, kind of a nerf for the flanker, but it's not a big one, okay? It's not a, I don't think it's a big one, okay? Then we go for the F-117. The F-117 also received a change, and it was a buff. A very interesting buff, actually. They are changing the RCS, the radar cross-section of the vehicle. So basically the multiplier, right, which is one of the main factors in the calculation of RCS. And it is basically making it be more stealthy when it's going directly to the target, so it will be even harder to see it when you are in a normal situation going towards the radar, right? From the rear as well, a lot more, so it will be a lot more stealthy going away from the target as well. And from the side, it will be more visible, okay? So now it will be easier to detect the side RCS, and less on the front and rear RCS. So yeah, they are, of course, you know, finishing up the touches on the first stealth aircraft, and yeah, kind of a buff, especially for the front and back, and a little bit of a nerf for the side. So you will need to take care of yourself when you are flying against a radar system and trying to basically side climb or something like that, right? But it's still going to be stealthy, I think, right? I mean, even if it's detected at 15 kilometers, you can still use that to your advantage. Before, sideways, it was basically the same, or it wasn't the same, but you know, you needed to get a lot closer to be detected sideways with the aircraft, right? Then we go for some things that I didn't notice yesterday, but they changed, right? One of the things was that the A-10 and the Gripen will have more GBU-39s, the glide bomb, GPS-guided glide bomb, right? So, for example, the A-10 will have 8 more of these bombs, so they are increasing the number for both these aircrafts, the A-10 and the Gripen, which is pretty interesting. The Tornado GR4 is getting the Lightning 3 pod, which is pretty cool. It is one of the later pods that the Tornado can use, right? Of course, in real life, you can use even more advanced ones like the Sniper. If I'm not mistaken, it's more advanced than this. But the Lightning 3 should be better already. Better resolution, better range, everything with that. Let's wait and see when it's added to the game to see how it will be. And the majority of the paveway bombs, and some others even, like the BGLs and stuff, they basically got a buff, right? They increased the range of the Seeker, that it can actually locate targets. They increased the FOV of the Seeker of most of these bombs. They increased the G limits, you know, for turning of the bomb to 6 Gs. So overall, guys, the paveways, especially the more advanced ones, will be better in the terms of how they turn, how they detect a laser target, and everything with that. So for sure a buff for that type of aircraft or that type of bomb, right? Another thing was that the RWRs, basically every single RWR in the game, from the Gripens to the F-15s, from the F-4s to the Su-25, MiG-29, Mirages, Kafirs, A-10s, I mean, F-16s, Tigers, everything. Now we'll be able to identify, of course, being detect and identify the Tunguska and the PGZ-09 radars, right? Which means that some of the nerfs that we had for some of the RWRs before got kind of reverted. Not really reverted, but, you know, added again, right? So that is pretty interesting, right? Another change is that the Kopil-21, the MiG-21 Bison radar got nerfed severely, to be honest. The medium PIF mode is only with 25 kilometers of range, the high PIF with only 55, and the ground modes to 13 with some different changes to the narrow search pattern as well, with the amount of bar height that it has, right? Doesn't mean much because we don't have R77s with it, but it is something, right? And of course the Su-39 as well, it got a buff on the ground radar as well to 18 kilometers. And last but not least, and I know it's not a lot, but it is what we have today, we're gonna talk about the Sturm and the Ataka, which are the helicopter, but some, like in some vehicles, used in ground vehicles as well, ATGMs for the Soviets/Russians, right? You know, the 9M114, if I'm not mistaken, and 9M120, I think they are called, right? But both of them are basically buffed by kind of a lot, actually. It turns to 15 Gs instead of the 10 Gs from before, and the agility in general will be increased severely. So now you will get to the max G or the max turn that it can do way faster, like way faster. So overall, a buff to those missiles as well. Of course, there are other things here and there, but I'm not going to talk about like each of it, every single one of them, because it's so many, and of course sometimes it's just a very minor thing. So we need to you know, pick some things that are more important in my opinion. But they did add some other things here and there. Okay, they changed some of the test flights and everything that I showed some of the stuff yesterday. They added the Mi-35M for Pakistan. They added another vegan DI. So there were many other things from yesterday on the DATAMINES, right? But the major thing is that these things I didn't actually cover yesterday. So I see you guys on the next one. We should see at least one more video today for you guys. And yeah, see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe. Always leave a comment. Always helps a lot. Make sure to leave a like as well. Always helps as well, the algorithm and stuff. And I see you guys on the next one. Bye. See ya.